It is Friday, May 30th, 2025, and from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I'm Marshal Manlove. This is Delaware Sports and American Sports Reports. This being a special interview edition of our show, we are going to meet the Delaware girls tennis first singles champion here shortly and her coaches. But before we meet those three mentioned individuals, I just want to mention that this is brought to you by me, Marshal Manlove, stage and comedy hypnotist. If you would like a funny, fascinating, and memorable experience for a party or an event that you're having, please consider my stage hypnosis show, details about which you can find at marshalmanlove.com. Go to the video section, and when you do, and press play on some of those videos, you are going to laugh, guaranteed. Now, hopefully, when I press this next button, my guests will appear, and I am 2 for 2 here today. My guests have appeared. So in the middle of the screen is the Delaware State girls tennis champion from Cesar Rodney High School in Camden, Delaware. Introduce yourself there, young state champion.
I'm Gracie Clark
Welcome.
from Cedar Rodney High School.
And to your right, head coach, introduce yourself there, sir.
Coach Candy from Cedar Rodney High School.
Coach Candy, that's what we're going with, Dan Candaloro, for
Dan
those
Candaloro,
who
yes.
don't know. And to your left,
Hi, I'm Sarah Candaloro, assistant coach at Cesar Rodney High School.
are you going by Candy also?
I do not.
So Gracie, congratulations on your state championship victory. First of all, how old are you? What grade are you in?
I'm 17 and I'm a junior.
So one more year of potential medal accumulations here in this state, huh? Yeah, congratulations to you. So you were the second seed coming in this year, correct?
Yes.
You beat the first seed and from Tower Hill. The Hillers are the overall state champions. And this wasn't the first time you played this young lady from Tower Hill, was it?
No.
You played her in the championship last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And we also played them 3 years ago during the season.
So how many times have you played the individual who you beat for your championship medal this year?
I've played her twice during the school year, and then I've played her out of season too, just in tournaments.
Ah, okay. So you know her pretty well then. So what was the difference between last year's, besides the fact that you got more points than her, what was the difference? What's the difference between the match you played last year and the one you played this year where you became victorious?
I went into it with a little bit more confidence than I did last year. I just tried to stay confident in my game because I knew I could do it, and just like knowing she was the defending champ, that I just had to go out there and play like I had nothing to lose.
Okay, so for those who, well, I mentioned it, I'm a hypnotist by trade, so I work with people and I work with athletes to enhance performance. So it piques my curiosity when somebody like you says, I want to make sure that I went in with confidence. How did you go about doing that?
I just really tried to focus on my game and really not to think about the games before that I had lost, and was just really focused on the match in front of me and that I could win.
Could I say something on that?
Of course.
I think she prepared last year when she came off the court. This was her goal, and I think throughout the 365 days until we did it again, her main focus was to get better, stay focused. She did workouts at a local gym here, 3 days a week. Before the season started, 2 days a week when the season started. She did private stuff on the outside with Sarah and some other coaches, and she just remained focused, and this was her goal, and she planned well, and she executed it.
You look pretty focused right now, Gracie, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact. But, yeah.
She's a very focused young lady.
Right. So I know for a fact that tennis players are some of the most competitive athletes out there. Really are, too. And I'm not saying that other athletes aren't, but I can see a different level of competitive spirit in tennis players. The good ones, for sure. You know, those who are just kind of messing around because it's something to do. You know, they have to compete at a sport or something. But tennis is different because I think there's more people who want to be good at it are paying money for lessons, I would imagine, right? There's a different level of commitment that's required. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So I admire that, but do you think, Gracie, in your young athletic career that you've always had that? And if so, at what age do you think that was kind of evident to you?
I think as soon as I started and I realized that it was kind of just like a one-on-one sport instead of being a team, I realized that I had to like be competitive myself. And then obviously when I started playing with Sarah, even our practices, like they're always competitive. And I think since I practice competitive, I can play competitive and be able to stay calm and be competitive in those tight situations.
Yeah, I've known Gracie since she was 9 or 10, and she would get upset when she was still learning, and I would beat her in a game, and I'm like, hey, like, I just got back from my college tennis career. Like, I don't think you're going to beat me yet. Maybe one day, but not yet. And she was that competitive even back then.
Well, you had a monster year. You were undefeated. You just like blew through this whole state. No doubt about that. So I had time to go through last year's tournament, but I didn't get a chance to go back into the history books a little bit. When's the last time a Caesar Rodney girl won the individual state championship at first singles? Do you know, Dan?
Yeah, I know. There's never been a first singles girls state championship won at Caesar Rodney High School.
Congratulations, history maker there. Fantastic. So when you got back to school after winning your championship, did the student body make a cake for you?
No, a lot of people actually didn't know. I had to inform a lot of people.
Really?
We were in AEP testing, so typically we have announcements at school, but we can't make announcements during the AEP test. So I think now the word is spreading through school, and I think she's getting a lot more accolades, and congratulations. Now that the AP tests are over and we can actually acknowledge stuff.
Yeah, I think schools should develop these kind of traditions for welcoming home their state champions, right? Some sort of festival or party at least, right?
It's not easy. I mean, it's definitely hard to, there's some good teams in all sports, and tennis. The young lady she beat is definitely a very high level tennis lady, yeah. And to beat her from coming off a loss last year to regaining that attitude to win, and focusing on it the whole year, she really accomplished a lot. But there is more to do.
Yeah, no doubt. Right?
Got the target on her back now.
Have a senior season to get through there too.
Yeah.
So you were given, I'm just looking at the scores here. You beat her 6-2, 6-love too, man. Like, you took care of business that day.
Yes, he did.
Right? So could you tell at any point, without saying anything disparaging, could you tell at any point that your opponent, that you were like emotionally beating your opponent?
A little bit. When I kind of went into the match, I was going into it ready for like a battle, and so I think I had a little bit stronger the mental side, but I was really just focused through the whole match that until the end, when it was like 5-0, I really didn't realize, because I was still like, I still kept that mindset all the way through that I'm not done until I'm done.
Yeah, I sense a unique mental toughness in you there. Yeah, no doubt about that. Fantastic. So you were given a medal at the end, right? You won. What did you do with the medal?
I hung it up in front of the silver one from last year.
Ah, that's right. Nice, nice. And your family, how did they help you celebrate?
They were just so happy with me, and we went out to a nice dinner and just celebrated the
What
win.
you have? What you have?
I had a steak.
Nice. That's right. That's right.
It was a long day.
Yeah, you earned that, right?
Yes.
No doubt about that. And so that brings me to the subject of nutrition. How do you deal with that throughout the course of your season?
I try to drink a lot of water because especially toward the end of the season it gets very hot, and then I just try and eat as healthy as I can and eat a lot of protein because I know some of those matches will go a little bit longer and sometimes it'll be a little bit hotter. So I try not to eat a whole bunch of junk food and a lot of sugary stuff because that tends to hurt my stomach when I play.
Yeah, I find that fascinating how the science of athletic nutrition has changed over the years. That where I would say that 9 out of 10 times when I ask that question about nutrition, the answer is the one you just gave, and it's about hydration first. It's not so much about caloric intake, which you need for energy, but it's really about drinking a lot of water. I kind of find that fascinating. When I was a kid and competing at very low levels, because I was not a good athlete, we used our nutrition was drink beer and lift weights. That's what we did.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Right? Little different now. So, Sarah, you work with Gracie off season
Yeah, I'm her coach at Dover Indoor as well.
at Dover Indoors. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And so, talk about the training process that you have with her throughout the course of a season, and keeping in mind also that part of that answer to that question I want to figure out is what are the rules through DIAA about coaching off season, because you're a volunteer coach
I'm a
here,
volunteer assistant.
so
That's correct.
does that make it different? Is there a different set of regulations?
Yeah,
With
so I'm a private tennis coach. That's what I do. That's my full-time job, and I believe the rule is that they don't take anyone's livelihood away. So I just volunteer with them, and I'm there as much as I can be, but I'm not a full-time coach here by any means. I go to the matches and I support as much as possible, but my main focus is I coach kids all around the state, and even at competing schools privately. Um, but Gracie, I've been with since she was, like I said, 9 or 10. And during the season, we try not to make a whole lot of technical tweaks, maybe small ones, but we do a ton of match play and point play and a lot of just drills to keep her fitness up. But then in the off season, more technical tweaks and getting down to little things to help improve the game.
Now, Gracie, do you, by any chance, do you have special types of shots that you take during a match? I'm going to ask a follow-up question. I just want to ask that first. That's part one of this question.
I just try and like my forehand cross is probably my favorite shot and the most consistent, and I try and get that one as much as possible because I know that one will be the most consistent during a match.
Okay. Do you have a special name for that shot?
I do not.
Like
Win the
take,
point.
like take the mashed potato, right? I think everyone should name their shots. Like a little, like on a drop shot or like a volley or something like that. Just have a special name, which you can shout out as you're doing it, just to intimidate your opponent. Sarah, I think you should incorporate that. Just an opinion, you don't you
Yeah,
can take my advice or
absolutely.
not, but you can incorporate that into your. So from now on, all kids around the state are going to be shouting out all these weird things as they're hitting their shots. I'd like to start that. Fantastic. Now, Gracie, do you play any other sports, or is just tennis for you year round?
No, I just play tennis year round.
Now, pretty much that's true for most tennis players, I imagine, right? I know one of the girls at Tower Hill who is like on second doubles, and she is like an all-state volleyball player too. But there was Lily Leung. But for the most part, people just specialize here. Why is that?
I mean, I played other sports when I was younger, and then once I really started getting serious with tennis, I realized I had to put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, that I didn't really have time to focus on the other sports and just really put all my effort and all my time into tennis.
I think it's partly because tennis can be played year round as well. It's not a sport that ever really has an off season. You can take time off if you want, but competition through USTA continues year round, so she can really stay in one sport and practice that all year if she chooses to do so.
Now, at the next level, the collegiate level, are coaches kind of expecting to see players play year round, or do some or most of them like to see their athletes cross compete?
Well, in college, they have a fall season, which kind of eats up a lot of the fall, and then their main season is in the spring. So
Okay.
it's kind of tough at that level to do two sports.
Now, have you been receiving any interest from college coaches there, Gracie?
Yes, I have.
Have you picked one by any chance yet?
Yes, I was looking to go to Westchester University.
Okay. Have you committed
Verbally, yeah.
verbally? Okay. Congratulations. And what made you decide to make that verbal commitment?
I really liked the coach and the team. Like, I went up and visited them. They were really nice. And it was also just like the academic level. Like, it really had the major I wanted to do. And it was just, it's far enough from home, but then also close enough where I can go back.
Yeah, that can be important for a lot of people, right? And then what do you think you are? You're just a junior. You can change. I don't want to diminish that. You're just a junior. Yeah, but you're still young. You have time to possibly change your mind about this. But what are you thinking about studying when you get into college?
Something along the lines of sports medicine, because I love all kind of sports, even though I'm in tennis and I do tennis year round. It's just sports have always been an interest to me, and being able to help others.
Maybe be a trainer,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
Perhaps even more, doctor, operate on knees and stuff. Hey, it could happen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would work too.
Now, as far as other competitions for you, maybe through the summer, I mean, tennis is an outdoor sport, and also indoor, of course, too. But do you have tournaments that you're planning to compete in this summer?
Yes, I do.
And for whom and where?
I just kind of play for myself, and I go all around. There's not many in Delaware that you can find, so I usually play in Pennsylvania, Jersey, all around the area.
So you're kind of like a mercenary, like you'll just go around and just attack people at all these other tournaments by yourself. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Now, are there like club teams though in the area?
Not really. It's kind of just like you go out and you play on your own.
I mean, Delaware has. You can speak to that.
So there's this thing called team tennis that Gracie has competed in the past, but due to her ranking, she's actually like ineligible to compete in it now because it's too high. So when you get to a certain point, you have to then start traveling farther to play.
Okay, so you are like a registered member of USA. How does that work? USTF, USA Tennis. What's the affiliation there?
USTA.
USTA. And
Yeah.
what is your ranking?
I'm not really sure off the top of my head.
We got to get this match in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, excuse my ignorance. I don't really know a whole heck of a lot about tennis beyond, what I see here at the high school level in Delaware. So it's limited knowledge.
Yeah, they have a thing called UTR also.
Yeah.
which is
It's a tennis rating that gives you a number between 1 and 16, I believe is the highest. And people who are from like a 12 to a 16 are like professional athletes. And I think Gracie's like a 7 now, which is one of the highest in the state.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
So, do you see yourself competing professionally at some point, Gracie?
I don't think so. I think there's a big jump between college tennis and professional tennis where I feel like you have to make that choice early where you're really going to put even more work in and to like become a professional, and then where it's like where I'm at now where I do put a lot of work in and I can play collegiately.
A big leap from high school to college too. So
Yeah.
yeah, and so when
You never know.
yeah, yeah. So when you are competing outside the boundaries of the great first state here, how do you find the competition level for you?
It's pretty good. I usually play or try to find the higher level tournaments so I still get that competition year round.
Hmm. And what are some of your other interests besides tennis?
I like I like to read. I like to bake a lot too.
Oh, yeah. What's your go-to recipe as far as baking is concerned?
Chocolate chip cookies are definitely my
Oh,
specialty.
nice. We have to be friends. We have to be friends. You're gonna be close enough in Westchester too,
That's
so
right.
yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is why I like to do these interviews because I like to find out all these kind of things. And then when you become a trainer and I twist an ankle or something walking down a stair because I'm in my 60s and that happens quite often, I'll know who I can call then. So, Dan, talk a little bit about Gracie. Tell me something interesting, funny, maybe like an interesting or funny anecdote that you got to experience with her through the year here.
Probably one of the funniest things I heard. One of I think our doubles team was getting ready to go out, or maybe Ava, and we're competing. They compete individually, but then at the end of the tournament, they add up the points and then they pick a winner. And Gracie, I'm pretty sure it was Ava, which was our second singles that came in second. Went up to her and said, "Rip her heart out," and that's the intensity she brings, like every day. Like she gets his when she steps between the lines. She's a competitor, and one of the nicest people outside the lines. But you don't find that in too many athletes, especially in high school. My daughter was one of them, and she trains kids to be like that. And when we went down between sets, I said to her, "Step on her throat." Don't put that in there. No. And she said, when she got done, she came out and said, "I ripped your soul out too." So there's just, that's between us, and so she's the kind of competitor that you can kind of, push and make her go that one step further, and she'll give it her all to get there, and she gets great to be around. It was kind of like football. It's wild.
Ripped their soul out.
Her dad's a coach, so he understands too.
So I just learned a little bit about. I just learned a little bit about how the other team I was just interviewing recently, before you came on, how they handle their who's going to play at what position, singles, doubles, and all that kind of stuff. And they have a challenge round, I guess, at the beginning of the year, which I imagine you do too. It's kind of like tryouts, right? And then you determine who's going to be first, second, third singles, first and second doubles, and all. The other school had, I didn't get a straight answer, but somewhere in the middle of that, they said that somebody could decide that they want to challenge for that position throughout the course of the year. Does that happen at Caesar Rodney? How does that process work?
there is the opportunity to challenge. I think DIAA has a certain cutoff. I think it's I don't know, the third or fourth match you have to set your lineup. But yeah, here our ladder is probably, and it's called a ladder match. Our ladder is, I think I have about 2.5 pages of matches and challenge matches. And last year we were till the day before the first match to figure out the lineup, because we are competitive here, and when these girls want to be at certain positions, and they'll do their best. And for a coach, it's kind of the toughest time to coach, because they're all friends. They all go to the indoor together or play together, and now they're competing against each other to figure out a team, and to figure out the lineup. And there's sisters on the team. There's just it's a tough time. People get upset. They lose or win or but the people that lose are like, I want to see Gracie again. So we're very competitive here. Our team is very competitive, and it is definitely a process that takes a while. Like we have 16 girls, so like I said, I probably have 2.5 pages of matches and challenge matches.
So who would dare challenge Gracie, knowing that there's a possibility of having their soul ripped out?
I use that as an example. I don't think once we get through the first round, and Gracie's been at the top for 3 years, nobody has anyone ever. I don't think anyone's ever challenged Gracie. No. And we got good tennis players. I mean, there's our number 2 was second. She lost to the girl from Tower Hill. So we've had some really good tennis players come through here. But yeah, there are. Well, not with Gracie, but they got to play it out. Like they have to play her.
Yeah.
I
don't think anyone's ever challenged her back.
No, challenged back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Once we figure out the top 1, 2, 3, there's really no. It kind of settles out.
But kind of in a way, Coach, don't you like secretly want those people to come to you and say, I gotta take that shot. I have to take my shot. I might get my soul crushed in the process, but I have to do it.
It's I think because they play so much together, through the year at drills and ladder matches and tournaments. Like I said, yes, I would love to see it, but also time constraints kind of get in the way too.
Sure.
And they play matches during practice, so the 1, 2, 3 play together the whole time. So it kind of they all get better at the same time, and you only got like 10 days to figure it out. So,
yeah, they pretty much know what's going to happen
down deep. I think it would be good, but it just hasn't happened. During the doubles, it happens a lot.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you just strictly singles, Gracie? Do you ever play a doubles match?
I've played doubles matches in tournaments, but never during the school year.
No need to. You're number 1. You're queen of the hill.
But looking at college, singles player, like the top 6 players, right? 6?
Yeah.
Play doubles, and they play doubles first, and that's 1 point. So that's a big point. You want to win that point. So she does play doubles in drills, and she's very good at it. So she'll be fine in college, and it is important to be able to play doubles in college.
Sure. Yeah. You need to have that value, extra added value for sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fill in any blanks that I might have left because I didn't ask all the proper questions.
Sarah, you got anything?
Oh, I don't know.
I'll just finish up like for me. She's definitely a hard worker. Straight A's.
Yeah.
Straight A's.
Just like, yeah, of course.
Yes, and that's kind of the norm for tennis, even in college. They're some of your better students. some of your best students in your school. I think our boys and girls team, everyone was academic, all conference, which is straight A's. So she's well rounded. She social life, great in school, great tennis player, and she's just a pleasure to have on the team.
Awesome. Well, it was very nice to meet all of you, and I imagine I'll see you here next year too, same time.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
So,
That's the goal.
365 days from now, we'll be back here.
That's right.
I imagine, right? All right.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to thank you for making time to come visit us here at Delaware Sports and American Sports Reports. I want to wish you continued success. Have a wonderful summer. Wave goodbye to our growing fan base here at the show, and I'm going to hit end meeting for all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks again for stopping by.
Awesome. Thank you.
So that is Gracie Clark, the #1 girls singles state champion here in Delaware. She's intense, man. See that look? She's focused on that camera the entire time. Very intimidating. I wouldn't want to challenge her. I couldn't because I have never played tennis in my life, so I don't even know why I even brought that up. But she is scary, very nice too, and the Candaloros, Dan and Sarah. If you would like to arrange an interview with an athlete, reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. I'll pretty much talk to anybody. You don't have to be a champion necessarily. You should have done perhaps something of note that we could talk about, though. That would probably be helpful. But it's mysportsreports@gmail.com. That's how you reach us. And now please like, share, and subscribe on whatever video platform you find these videos. I'd appreciate it. And now I'm going to hit the trombones and be on my way to lunch. Yep, that's it. Bye.